The main character likes soaking in hot springs, but he doesn't like to be alone. Instead, he likes to be accompanied by many beauties. Therefore, he buys many beautiful girls of different races and invites them to soak in the hot springs together. Such happiness makes him vow to buy more beauties and expand his harem. The story begins with Kaga's accidental travel to a village in another world. After gaining strong power, he intends to test his strength. Coincidentally, a group of bandits attacks the village. He easily kills the fierce leader of the bandits and defeats other bandits. After that, Kaga realizes that he has supreme combat power in this world. When the chief of the village gives the spoils to Kaga, Kaga keenly notices that the leader's bandana has been swapped. He orders the chief to take out the real one. The chief dare not offend Kaga and quickly starts investigating in the village. Finally, the thief is caught. According to the rules of the village, the thief will be labeled as a slave in his identity card. Then, the chief gives the card to Kaga. The identity card is usually embedded in the body, and the thief's identity card can be used to get the bounty from the government. After getting the bounty, Kaga sells the slave at a slave shop, where there is a charming maid with huge breasts. Kaga is soon attracted by her, who is attractive in every part of her body. The merchant can tell Kaga's interest in the maid, saying that she is a dog girl named Roxanne. She can not only offer help in the battle but also serve her master at night. Most importantly, as a slave, she can't disobey any orders of her master. The merchant quotes 420,000 for Roxanne, promising to reserve her for 5 more days. Kaga is aware that if he doesn't take Roxanne, she will become the plaything of others. At this moment, Kaga keeps thinking of Roxanne, who has an innocent face but a fascinating body. He then makes a decision that he will own Roxanne with all his efforts. Let's have a short look at what happens in 10 years. Kaga has become successful and returns to the village where he first arrived. He is surrounded by beautiful women of various races, including noble elves and lovely dwarfs, as well as Roxanne, the girl he had coveted for a long time that year. He meets a little boy who looks like him when he arrives here. With a love affair in the past coming to Kaga's mind, he has a guess. He learns that the boy is 9 years old now, raised by his mother alone. Kaga instantly realizes who the boy is. He hands the boy a sword, telling him to protect his mother. Then he walks away. What he can do now is to silently keep the mother and son's life peaceful at a distance. Let's go back to 10 years ago. In order to have enough money to buy Roxanne, Kaga asks around for the ways to earn money. He learns that there are 2 main ways to get money quickly. One is to hunt bandits for bounty, by which he may get endless revenges from them. The other is to explore in the labyrinth nearby. Kaga thinks that hunting bandits is too risky, so he decides to go to the labyrinth first. As he just steps in, there are 2 new professions named Seeker and Hero in his occupation bar. The Seeker can not only put the prop back to the prop box in the system at any time, but also allow him to travel through the labyrinth with a portal. But the portal can only be used in specific places. The Hero, literally a fighting type, has a skill of time accelerating. Kaga has encountered many tree men along the way, and he defeats them with this skill and the long sword in his hand. But using the skill frequently will consume his magic power. When it is too low, Kaga will gain negative emotions. Luckily, the long sword in his hand can absorb the enemy's magic power. Unexpectedly, those tree men, though looking clumsy, can lure him with some weapons dropped by humans. Then they besiege him and attack him together. Kaga can only keep accelerating the time to kill them. Though the magic power consumption causes massive negative emotions, he withstands it with his tough willpower. However, though the materials gained by killing tree men are valuable, it is still far from 420,000. He must think of another method. Finally, he decides to earn bounties by hunting bandits. He asks people around for information, and then knows that a group of bandits is hiding in a suburban village. Therefore, he disguises himself and sneaks into the village for investigation. This horrible place is sparsely populated and the houses are dilapidated. He can see no bandits but several sallow and emaciated villagers. Guessing the bandits may show up at night, Kaga returns to the inn in the city and waits for late night. The nightlife in the town is so different from that in modern city, and it is dark everywhere. It takes some time for Kaga to finally adapt to such condition, but he accidentally enters the red light district. There are countless hot beauties in front of him. Normally, Kaga will jump into them without hesitation. But now he only thinks about Roxanne. When he is about to leave, he notices a man with a scar on his face. With his skill, Kaga identifies that the man is a bandit. He takes the chance to follow him. Finally, he comes to the bandit's place. He disguises himself as a bandit with the captured bandit's bandana, talking with a guard for more information. But the guard doesn't get duped. He takes Kaga into the room, intending to take the bandana after killing Kaga. Kaga covers the candle with the bandana, killing the guard in darkness. Then he sneaks into the next bedroom, killing every sleeping bandit in the faint light. He is very careful and tries not to make any sound. Unfortunately, he still wakens the last bandit. Though Kaga kills the bandit successfully, the shouting still attracts other bandits' attention. The room is soon surrounded. To get the identification card, he hurriedly chops off the bandit's left hands, returning to the labyrinth with the portal. Then he gets the bounty from the knights. With over 420,000 in his hand, he excitedly rushes to the shop. The slave merchant immediately helps Kaga sign the slave contract after receiving the money. Just then, the fact that he owns the slave Roxanne quickly shows on Kaga's information card. Looking at the attractive Roxanne, Kaga's eyes can't focus anymore. Thinking of owning this sexy beauty, he feels like in a dream. From now on, his dream life in another world finally starts. He can't hold his strong desire, immediately taking Roxanne to the inn. As her master, Kaga can do whatever he wants to Roxanne. He can't help himself rubbing her ears when he notices them. Roxanne looks nervous and stiff. But obviously she has the awareness of being a slave, as she doesn't resist Kaga at all. Such a soft girl keeps arousing Kaga's love and desire. But finally, he decides to put his emotions aside and honestly confesses his identity as a transmigrationer and his various experiences these days. It is said that a close relationship starts with a deeper understanding. Kaga's honesty wins Roxanne's trust. When he finishes his talking with a gentle hug, Roxanne is no longer stiff, and her face is blushed. Afterwards, Kaga takes Roxanne to buy equipment and her underwear. Roxanne finds that Kaga is not rude and insolent as other men, but is gentle and meticulous, which releases her from being worried about what kind of master she may meet. She can have close interactions in the market with Kaga like a couple now. The night comes quietly. They go back to the inn to have a rest. With only one bed in the room, Roxanne just sits on the floor, since it is a world where slaves are not allowed to enjoy the bed unless it is for serving the master. But Kaga is unlike a stuffy man in this world. He pulls Roxanne to the bed, declaring that they will sleep on one bed together from now on. Obviously, Roxanne still feels a little shy. She quickly changes the topic to that she wants to try things they bought today, including the underwear. Kaga has never seen such a heart-racing scene before, so he immediately turns away. After preparing for a long time, Kaga decides to take actions. He asks Roxanne to clean his back, and he will do the same thing to Roxanne in return. Roxanne timidly takes off her clothes. With her body wiggling, even her tail is seductive. When they are washing each other's head, Kaga can't take his sight off. With a feeling of being in the heaven, he finally can't hold his desire anymore. Roxanne realizes what will happen next. She feels shy but still takes out a maid outfit because she was told it may make the master happier. Kaga doesn't know what the merchant has taught to her, but instead of waiting for her dressing, he directly kisses Roxanne in a gentle way and puts her down slowly. It's the first time for both of them. After this wonderful experience, they become mature together. This experience gets them closer. They promise to both start and end their day by a kiss, and to take adventures in this dangerous world together. Roxanne is good at smelling and is experienced in battle. Along with Kaga's powerful strength, they can wipe out all the enemies in the labyrinth. Monsters can barely withstand Kaga's one shot. Roxanne is getting more obsessed with his bravery. They are now only in the first level of many in the labyrinth. Kaga keeps killing monsters to upgrade his level, intending to enter the next level of the labyrinth. During the process, Roxanne's level also gets upgraded. With Roxanne's level also upgrading, she gains a rare healing skill, which provides them with sufficient protections for future battles. After a hard day of fighting, Kaga takes Roxanne back to the inn. Unlike a master, he doesn't ask Roxanne to serve him. Instead, he offers to help her clean her body. As Roxanne's face gets blushed, they spend another night full of passion. Then, they have to face the boss in the first level of the labyrinth. Roxanne becomes starry-eyed and excited. She is even more enthusiastic about the battle than Kaga. The boss is a giant tree man, which is immune to normal attacks as well as skills. Fortunately, Kaga and Roxanne work well together after the combats these days. Roxanne takes the initiative to attract the enemy's attention, and Kaga immediately slashes at the giant tree man's weak point, cutting it in half. Then, they are qualified to enter the second level and gain a new profession with the ability to transform herbs into medicine. There are also many tree men in the second level as well as caterpillars that spit silk. When Kaga first encounters the caterpillar, he is trapped by the silk and is almost killed by the tree man. Fortunately, he kills the caterpillar in time and gets away from the silks. Finally, he defeats the enemy and obtains the fallen silks. On his way back to the inn, Kaga notices a man spying on the slave shop. He identifies the man as a bandit with his skill and tells the slave merchant about it. The merchant thinks about it for a while before he tells his suspicions. The thief who stole the bandit's bandana was bought by two men yesterday. But they didn't take the thief away immediately, which aroused the merchant's suspicion since bandits' bandanas are not generally known to common people. He infers that this thief may have been in contact with the bandits since long ago, and bandits intend to attack the shop along with the thief at night. To avoid accidents, the merchant hires Kaga and Roxanne to guard the shop. As darkness falls, danger is approaching. Most of the bandits are stopped by the shop's guards, but one of them still sneaks into the shop. Kaga immediately chases after him, trying to take this opportunity to use the first magic he has learned, which is able to decrease the enemy's health power in equal amounts by decreasing Kaga's magic power until the enemy dies. He quietly approaches the bandit in the darkness and then casts his magic. Kaga quickly becomes weak and falls to the ground. It turns out that when his magic power is too low, his health power will also be depleted. The merchant hears the sound and rushes over. His lamp lights the bandit's broken body on the ground. Kaga is shocked and scared. If the enemy's health power is much higher than his magic power, he will be the dead one. After that, Kaga takes Roxanne to the labyrinth through a portal, and then absorbs the monster's magic power with the long sword. Finally, he gets recovered. Though this battle is dangerous, Kaga gets a new profession, the magician. He acquires various magics, and the most important one is the teleportation magic, which can send him to any place that he has reached before at any time. In this world, few people can cast magics, so he decides to keep this as a secret out of cautiousness. As a magician, Kaga can cast magics of different attributes. Besides, the fire magic alone includes the flame ball, the flame wall and the flame storm. His fighting power is rapidly improved, which gives him enough confidence. They reach the end of the second level of the labyrinth to challenge the boss, a giant caterpillar. Kaga attacks the enemy with the flame magic while Roxanne gets into a close combat. They join forces to quickly kill the boss and take the trophies to the next level. There is a new kind of monsters here, the ugly elves, which are too weak for Roxanne and Kaga. None of the ugly elves can resist one shot of Kaga. After figuring out the terrain of the third level, they leave here. After returning to the inn, they erase their tiredness by washing each other's bodies, turning the atmosphere in the room to be romantic. They kiss with affection, and the romance of this moment melts them. As it goes further, Roxanne's voice gets louder and seductive. They get satisfied both in their bodies and souls, enjoying the moment with their lovers. In the morning, Kaga takes Roxanne to a larger city and purchases a wand to help him cast magic. He thinks of the lack of privacy in his intimate interactions with Roxanne at the tavern, so he purchases a wooden house in the mountains as their home. They then go back to the inn to end the lease. It will be their last night in the inn. Kaga carefully cleans Roxanne's body, and this special feeling gets Roxanne flushed. They soon fall into another deep interaction, feeling extremely happy. Afterwards, they move into their new house. Now, nobody can interrupt them. Kaga puts his arms around Roxanne. It is their first time enjoying happiness in their new house. With Kaga's intimate interactions, Roxanne feels more enjoyed and satisfied than ever. It is definitely a night full of passion. After that, Kaga thinks now that they got a home, they should buy some special furniture. He gets a huge customized barrel, in which they can take a bath together. He fills the barrel with water magic, and heats the water to the right temperature with flame magic. Then, he can do what he wants. He sits in the barrel with Roxanne, taking out his special soap and smearing it on Roxanne's body. Kaga and Roxanne smear the soap to each other with their bodies touching. It is his first feeling such a smooth touch, and it will be the most wonderful experience they have ever had. After a break, Roxanne and Kaga return to the labyrinth and continue their adventure. There is a fierce red rabbit in the 7th level of the labyrinth. If they kill it, they can get the fur. Soon, Roxanne and Kaga defeat it with perfect coordination. Besides the fur, they also get the rabbit meat. The rabbit meat becomes very delicious after Roxanne's careful cooking. As Kaga gets hooked on this taste, they come to the labyrinth again, intending to challenge the red rabbit. At this moment, they find a long line of adventurers. There is a blonde man in front of them, excitedly stating that he has been adventuring in the labyrinth for 10 years. If he defeats the red rabbit, he can save enough money to buy his favorite slave. Sadly, Kaga and Roxanne see the blonde man's outfit after entering the labyrinth, which means he's already dead. Although Kaga finishes his mission, he's not in the mood to taste the delicious food. After they return home, Kaga immediately asks to have intimate interactions with Roxanne, hoping to get comfort from her warm body. As they go deeper into the labyrinth, they encounter stronger monsters. Kaga accidentally hurts his finger during the battle. At night, he asks Roxanne to lick his wound to ease the pain. That night, Kaga's body and mind both get happy and satisfied. To avoid danger, Kaga decides to buy a smith as a slave to help them strengthen the power of their weapons. The only one in the slave shop who has a chance to become a smith is a dwarf girl, Sherry. She has not yet performed so well in the labyrinth, so she has not been recognized by the Smith Guild. Sherry takes the initiative to sell herself, stating that she is very strong. Roxanne reminds Kaga that Sherry's ears are long and thin, which means she may be a bit older. After thinking for a while, Kaga decides to negotiate with the merchant because he thinks Sherry has the value to get trained. A dwarf who has not become a smith yet is not so valuable, plus the merchant is eager to sell it, so Kaga finishes the deal at a very low price. From then on, Kaga becomes Sherry's master, but he notices that Roxanne becomes upset. He feels happy for Roxanne's jealousy because it proves that she loves him. When they get home together, Sherry feels shocked that Kaga not only has multiple professions, but also can cast magic. More surprisingly, Kaga even invites her to sit on a chair to have a conversation. At this moment, Sherry realizes that she meets a powerful and kind master. After Sherry joins the team, what Kaga does first is to pick a suitable weapon for her. Armed with her new weapon, she ventures into the labyrinth with Kaga and Roxanne. Kaga is eager to show his power in front of the new member, fighting bravely with the monsters. He thinks his handsome look when fighting will surely charm Sherry, not realizing that Sherry has been focusing on Roxanne's magnificent dodging of all the monsters' attacks during the battle. Sherry quite admires Roxanne, which makes Kaga feel a bit disappointed. When they return home through the portal, Sherry is shocked at Kaga's ability to cast magics without chanting an incantation. In the evening, Sherry prepares elaborate cuisines of the dwarfs. When Kaga tries to hand her the food first, he feels a strong pressure from Roxanne and hurries to serve the food to Roxanne first. He realizes that he needs to be more thoughtful in order to stabilize the family relationship. After dinner, they discuss the differences between the races. Sherry and Roxanne agree that all humans are horny. Just then, Sherry suddenly blushes as she seems to realize what will happen this night. Kaga denies to be a horny man, but he still goes into the bathroom, expecting them to follow him in. Sherry takes off her clothes and looks very shy. She feels a little inferior because Roxanne has a sexier body. Kaga wants to comfort Sherry, but Roxanne is so sexy that he can't help getting closer to her. After he satisfies Roxanne, he comes to Sherry. He compliments Sherry on her cuteness, which makes Sherry relax and start enjoying it all. Kaga never imagines he can take a bath with two beautiful girls, and this bathroom means a heaven to him. Afterwards, the girls put on their pajamas and come into the bedroom. Kaga tells Sherry that it is a rule in this house to kiss before sleeping and after waking up, and then he kisses Sherry. At this moment, he notices Roxanne's displeasure and realizes he made the wrong choice. He can only lie that the most important person must be kissed until last, thus soothing Roxanne. He and Roxanne show their love to each other in front of Sherry. When it's Sherry's turn, she shyly opens her eyes to see how Kaga dotes on her. They spend a romantic evening together. When Kaga wakes up, he is given a new profession, the pervert, which boosts the value of his various attributes. He decides to practice and level up this occupation, so he buys more slaves in the slave shop. He wants more lovely girls of different races to become his lovers. The story of Kaga and his girls ends here. I can't imagine that this story ends so quickly before I could see those beautiful girls.